Okay, so there's our screenshot for this one. We're going to try to show how to do a very rudimentary, admittedly, cleaning on some fuel injectors. We've already done a video. You can look back into my my account and you can find the video on exactly how to figure out which pins in here control exactly which injectors on this MR1 Yamaha FXHO motor. The FX140 is going to be the same. Almost guarantee it's, oh man, it's so hard to do that. It should be the identical wiring and pin configuration as discussed in my previous video. It's just the motor's just too damn similar. There's no reason why they would have changed that up. So we're going to show how to hopefully do a fuel injector cleaning, even if this is sitting on your ski still. I just don't feel that the amount of fuel injector cleaner or carb cleaner that we're going to be injecting on top of your pistons is worthy of consideration. Personally, I would do it on mine. Not saying you should do it on yours. Maybe it's better if we all just say, hey, remove this and go through the hour plus that's going to take to remove and put back on, probably 2 hours, just to be a little on the safe side for your ski. But I'm going to do it on mine from now on. We'll see. So anyway, so I've already tested each of these injectors that is currently connected to this FX high output intake manifold with the throttle body. So each of these actually does bench test out and clicks. The solenoid, or it's called, does click inside each of those. We figured out our pin configuration, where our ground is at in here to do our tests. Look back at my other video to figure that out. Now let's see if these things fire up. What we're going to need for this test: a piece of fuel line. I took a piece of fuel line, I put a hose clamp over here to connect it on. Got a loose end on this side that I'm going to shove a 30 psi of pressure out of my air compressor into that. By connecting this guy on there, then I'm going to hose clamp that together. Let's get started with that. And my apologies, before I do that, I want to fill this hose up with carb cleaner, fuel injector cleaner, whatever you want. Fuel injector cleaner would be a little better. Probably bad to put carburetor cleaner inside of these lines, but this one is not going to be used after this at all for anything. Therefore, I am doing what I want. So we've got some gum out. This is from AutoZone, probably. I'm pretty positive on that. Maybe it's from Walmart, who knows. Carbon choke cleaner and parts cleaner. Seems to work pretty good for me. I've used it in the past, works well. Do have a fire extinguisher on hand. This came out of my Yamaha Waverunner, so I'm going to assume it's for fuel situations. A little bit of an assumption. I'm doing this in a garage in a confined space. My worst case scenario is I got a big fire and, I'll scream, holy shit, and we'll see what happens. I am not going to have this battery this close to this when I actually start clicking this solenoid over. I am so afraid of just firing up, so we'll have a little bit of distance between these two guys here, just so that the spark doesn't migrate as I'm spraying carb cleaner and aerating all this stuff all over the place. Anyway, let's get this set up. First thing I want to do is take my carb cleaner, and I'm going to invert the straw, or put the straw up, and I'm going to fill this thing all the way up to the top. Probably burp it a little bit, try to get carb cleaner all the way filling up this fuel injector rail here as well. You can hear the pitch change as it's getting towards the top. Put the straw inside there so it you can hear every time it burps. Oh shit. All right, so I think we got all the air bubbles out of there. All right, that's quite a bit in there, I believe. Burp it one more time. That sucks. Really didn't want that all over this. this glove in case of a fire. All right, suffice to say off camera, I'm going to fill this all the way till it gets to the top. Then I'm going to insert my air compressor, and I'm going to worm clamp secure this thing together so that I have basically a enclosed system, basically. All right, so the basic gist of this setup is I filled up this line until it was about right here with carburetor cleaner. And of course, because I've inverted this and kind of just braced it up, the fuel rail is going to be full past injector number 1, and then through the rest of the fuel rail, of course, a little bit, about 2 inches, 3 inches of fuel rail, and it'll be up to here. So as long as I test these in the sequence of number 1, 2, 3, 4, I should have enough in this line to get through this test. I might have to, disconnect and refill as we go here, but this I'm hoping will get us there. Then I put a little loop in the line. We're at 30 psi. If I even hammer this down and zip tie this, I should have a constant 30 psi of pressure in this system. And if I look on the back side, and I can smell that I am not leaking anything right now, so I should be able to keep 30 psi in there constant. I'm going to go ahead and zip tie that down. Yeah, a little bit nervous about a fire in here, and then having the rest of this stuff just continuing. I'm not going to hold this down. I'm just so afraid that if I do that, I could end up with a situation where it's basically spraying fire out of the back that I can't contain. So we'll stop right there. And sorry, I'm thinking through this as I go. And I guess if anything, I might have to manually push this every now and then to increase the pressure as I'm doing this cleaning. Then I'm going to put my battery over here. I'll use a bunch of these to kind of extend my runs. You could use a wire or whatever you want. We'll extend my runs so that the little tiny spark that does come off that battery won't get these vapors in it. Is the biggest spook for me right now. That could be super sketchy, so be very careful with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the garage door behind me so that I end up with ventilation that's blowing fumes that way into the garage versus coming backwards towards this battery setup. All right, so the gist of this is that I've got the negative. Here's the top of this device here. There's the little bump, the gray bump, that actually connects to this mount down here, just for reference. So that bottom right-hand side, if you will, is the permanent ground. So just use that for all of your grounds. And then injector number 1 is the pin right above it. So the red is connected to injector number 1. You can watch my other video to see how I rigged this little pigtail system up. So we got the ground going back, and I have not connected that yet. I just kind of temporarily hooked it to this piece of plastic. And then we've got our hot, making sure I kind of routed everything here so that none of these alligator clamps can touch each other. And I'm connected way back here to positive battery. And all I'm going to do is take this and tap it. But you're going to be watching on video from the other side to watch the injector actually pulse and hopefully give us a little spray pattern. So the back side of this here, fuel injector number 1 is right down inside of, let's see, where's it actually sticking out? You can see a damn thing. Hang on, I can't even see it. My neck is craning. Okay, so let me get something to point with. So fuel injector number 1 sits right here in this opening, so that's where our spray should be coming from. And I've just got I'm gonna lay out a couple of these blankets here just for the heck of it, and then we really ideally just kind of want that spray to come over here. I'll set the camera up so you can hopefully see that spray pattern but not spray my frickin' Android phone. Let's see. Let's do that. And now, so I'm just going to head over to the battery. I'm going to pressurize the system with with the use of this compressed air right now. I'm just going to pressure back up to 30. All right. It's fully pressurized right now. And then I got my fire extinguisher ready at hand, just in case. And I'm standing out of the way, so if any of this blows off on me, that I can get the heck out of the way real quick. And here goes the test in 3, 2, 1. Actually expecting something to happen there, so I must have the wrong pin connected. So let's reset up and make sure I got the correct pins connected to do this test. I know I do, so I'm not exactly sure why it's not working. Alright, so I just wasn't getting very good continuity, so I had to reset up with a solid piece of stranded wire and go all the way from that from this box over to the battery. So let's give this a try again. We're repressurized, and we'll give it a shot here to see what happens. And where's my fire extinguisher? 3, 2, 1. I can't tell if it's spraying or not. I might have to refer to my own video. I'm going to put 30 psi pressure on this to hold it while I'm tapping. Okay, I could see it on that one, so let me show you what I was doing. All right, so let's zoom out here. So what I was doing on that run is I was holding down on my trigger on my compressor like this, which should be injecting 30 psi constant off of my my air compressor, because I set that up to be static at 30 psi. And then I was over there tapping I have the positive wire connected permanently to the battery, and I was just tapping the negative on the battery. That's what was generating that. So I could see that we were getting some kind of spray pattern, but I'm fairly blocked right now just for protection for fire and whatever. I just never done this before. I just wanted to set this up to see if it was even feasible. What I don't know is, can you just put a power on that and have it constantly spraying? I don't see why not, to try and flush out and or clean that injector a little bit better. So that's something I'd be curious if you can do that, or do you have to keep tapping it? I'm thinking the carb cleaner should be keeping the injector cool enough that it shouldn't overheat, but I'm afraid of ruining the injector if I just continue to apply power to it.